Most people don't have a results problem. They have a systems problem. Every client I see already has a path. I don't guess in consultations. I follow a system. My protocols aren't random. They're repeatable. And if you're ready to build your business like this is exactly what I teach inside my 6-week group mentorship. Spring edition begins May 4th. Registration is open now. Because when your systems are right, your results stop being optional.
What's up, everybody? What's up? It's Maisha Edmond, licensed cosmetologist in the state of New York, also a certified trichologist. I am super excited. Certified trichologist. Super excited to be here. What's going on? Hey, listen, I am on because I want to talk to you about systems. And so it's going to be quick. It's going to be quick, but I want to talk to you about 5 systems that every solo trichologist needs. Most of the trichologists that I know work by themselves, right? If you are a trichologist that works by yourself, and you know exactly what I mean, usually you do have a, like if you're in the salon, you might have an assistant, but I'm talking about most of the trichologists I know are literally working by themselves. They are doing treatment plans. They are doing their booking. They have to do all the follow-ups. They have to do all the things. And so if that is you, hey, Joni, if that is you and you are working by yourself as a trichologist, then I have some systems that I use that I want to share with you. And so let's get started. And I want to talk about this because I'm not talking about like random apps, right? I'm talking about actual systems. So, but like actual systems, because most solo trichologists are kind of like doing the work of multiple people all at one time, right? So like we're the provider, we're the admin, we are the marketer, we are the follow-up person, we are the CEO. And so the goal is not to do more manually. We have to figure out how we're going to have to stop doing more manually, right? And so the goal is to build systems that support business better. So I am live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, my regular page, and on Trichology 911 on Facebook, right? Okay, so if you were on the last live that we did, like maybe like last week or the week before, I was talking about different things that you can do for the rest of the month that would make you money, right? Or bring clients in. Now you have clients coming in and it's really hitting you that, oh my gosh, I'm by myself. Another thing is maybe you didn't get a lot of clients, right? It's the end of the first quarter. You're about to go into the second quarter and you are panicking. And you're panicking because you're saying there's got to be an easier way. There's got to be a better way for me to run my trichology practice and to see the clients, but also have everything else running in the background. So that's really, really big. So I have notes I'm going to be reading and all the other stuff. If you have questions, by all means, please ask them. If you've seen like my pages from maybe, I'm going to say November to now, a lot of it has been infused with AI, right? Not because I'm using AI to do trichology, but the other stuff, right? The stuff that we really don't have a lot of time for, or the stuff that we want to give time to, but we want to also be very engaged with our clients. So like my marketing, if you were on before I actually came on the screen, I have like a commercial I created for group mentorship that's starting on May 4th. So different things like that. You need to be creating your digital products, right? There are ebooks that you didn't write. There are slides for classes that you didn't put together. So all of those things are going to make a difference. All those things are going to make a difference. Okay. So the goal, like I said, is to build systems that support the business better, right? So inside those systems, yes, there are tools that can help us move faster. They can help us to stay organized, and they can start us from zero to here. So let us do that. Hey, Linda. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it. So the first system I want to talk about, let's start with the first one, is going to be a content system. A content system, right? So a solo trichologist needs a content system. Does that make sense? You need a content system, right? So not just content here and there, but you have to have a content system. And why do I say that? Because let's look at everybody's page that's a trichologist that you know, right? There's going to be days that they did not post. There's going to be weeks that they did not post. There are going to be months that they did not post. Why? Because they still have to do the business that's inside of their practice, right? So it slipped their mind, they're busy, they're hands-on, and they do not have that system in place. Let me see. Okay. I think I'm paused here. Okay, so they do not have that system in place. So let's talk about that, right? You don't want random posting, right? You want a real content system, right? A real content system. So your content system is how you consistently communicate your expertise, right? Without having to reinvent the wheel every single day, right? That system is so that you are in the face of people all the time and they understand that you are the expert. So this includes your post ideas, right? Your captions, educational content, your emails, your live topics, your client education, even the visuals that help people understand what you do, right? So that you don't have to keep saying, well, I'm a trichologist and I do ABC, right? So you need a content engine or a content system. Now, the reason this matters is because most solo trichologists, which is pretty much every single trichologist that I know, but most solo trichologists are creating content in between clients, right? Or late at night, or whenever they can squeeze it in. So without a system, the content becomes inconsistent and then it's exhausting. And that's where tools like ChatGPT and Canva come in. So your content, if you're looking to create a content system, I want you to look at ChatGPT and Canva, or Claude and Canva, right? ChatGPT and Claude are going to help you to think through what to say, okay? So it helps you with your post ideas, your captions, your email drafts, breaking down topics, educational wording, and repurposing one idea into multiple pieces. And remember, I told you before that if you cannot talk about a topic 5 different ways, it's not really worth talking about, right? But what if you can't think that far? Then if you use something like Claude or ChatGPT, then it helps you to break down those ideas so that you have multiple pieces. And then Canva is going to help you to turn that message into something visual, right? So if you need to create carousels, or if you need to create graphics, if you need to create just something visual, ebooks, digital products, clinical materials, all of that. So when you think about you as a trichologist needing a content system, let's look at ChatGPT plus Canva, or Claude versus Canva, right? The point is you want to build a content system and let those tools support the system. Does that make sense? Right? So that's like literally what I teach, what I'm going to be teaching in the mentorship program, right? Is one of those things. that we're doing. We're helping you to take what's in your head and take it out and turn it into usable content, clear messaging, actual business assets, and as a way of always having something to have, something to say without trying to figure it out on the fly, right? So this is really where people can see you, where they can hear you, they can understand what you do, and the next thing you do, the next thing you need is a way for another business or for other people to see what you do. Okay. All right. Let's get into the next one. The next one is going to be your booking and client flow system. Your booking and client flow system, right? So we did the first one, that's your content system. Now we're looking at your booking and your client flow system, right? That's going to be your second one. This is what happens when somebody is ready to work with you, right? So you got the content, they're looking, they're so excited. Oh my God, this is who I was looking for. This is exactly what I need. Now you have to have a flow with the booking. Now I feel like we are kind of past people texting us, looking for our number, hitting us up in the DMs, different things like that. But very surprising, a lot of people are not, right? There are still people that are like, call me or inbox me, right? But what happens is you leave money on the table. You leave it on the table and you're not able to get to everybody, right? Because your follow-up or your ability to interact with people is limited, because if you're using your hands and you need your hands and all that other stuff to kind of like book and all that other stuff, you are going to miss people. So I created a voice agent, which is an AI system that allows my phone to be picked up, and it gives information about it's trained on my particular trichology practice, and is connected to my booking system. So if you call, my Trisha is going to answer the phone and she's going to say, like, you're in the right place. Like, how can I help you? And you're going to say, well, I need a hair loss consultation. And she's going to say, okay. And you're going to say, well, how much is it? She's going to say, well, if you want a 15-minute consultation, it's absolutely free. If you want an in-person consultation, it costs this. If you need a virtual consultation, it costs that. Okay, well, how do I book? Okay, go to Maisha's website. Any button on any book now button on any page of the website, and it'll take you right there, right? But when you don't have an assistant and all that other stuff, you need more innovative ways to be able to do that. So you want to have a booking and client flow system, right? So that's going to include booking, intake, confirmations, reminders, appointment types, prep instructions, right? And the communication that moves somebody from interest to appointment. I was interested, but now I have an appointment. And this matters because if you are solo, hello, right? You cannot manually manage every single booking conversation, right? While you're with clients. Or listen, if your content system is working great, which it will, then you'll be so inundated with people that you would need some kind of system. So your booking process needs to work even when you are busy. Okay. And so that's where I'm a little biased. I like Acuity. Some people use Calendly. Some people use, Gloss Genius, different things like that, right? But that's where Acuity for me comes in. Acuity helps me with scheduling, appointment types, intake forms. I create my intake forms, all that other stuff. It helps me with reminders, confirmations, help clients to move through the process with more structure. And then ChatGPT can support the communication side, right? Because my booking instructions, I can create my booking instructions and put them in Acuity, confirmation wording, creating FAQs, consultation prep language, all of that. So again, the tool is not the center. The system is going to be the center. You need a booking and a client flow system because the business cannot depend on you manually texting and explaining and coordinating every single step. So you're going to need that. you're going to need that. Okay. All right. And so what's the next one? Let's get to number 3. Number 3 is going to be your follow-up system. I think that we lose the most money in follow-up, especially as trichologists. We lose the most money in follow-up. It's like almost non-existent. And it's crazy because this system is going to be the system that keeps people from falling through the cracks. I have had so many conversations with people who have even seen my voice agent promos, right? And I'm saying, well, how are you reaching out to people? Well, I don't. I'm busy with somebody. The phone rings. I forget. I'm tired. It's late at night. I also still do hair. So I'm missing, these people, right? So I worked out this little math equation, and I was saying, if a full treatment plan for you costs $2,500 for 12 weeks, let's just say $2,500 for 12 weeks, full treatment plan, right? And you are not answering the phone, or you do not have the ability to follow up, and you miss 2 people every month at $2,500, you are literally giving away $60,000. I don't know about you, but I ain't got $60,000 to give nobody. Okay, so you're talking about inquiry follow-ups, like, hey, I heard that hey, you called, did you need something, right? You have that. Then you have your consultation follow-ups, right? Maybe somebody did a free 15-minute consultation and didn't go any further. Did you follow up with them after that? Like, hey, we talked about this. Did you find a solution? Blah, 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 right? That's going to be very important. Check-ins, right? Reminders, re-engaging people who were interested but never fully moved forward is going to be big. Now, I know, like before, probably still now, but it was a big thing to have some kind of an email system where people could if they reached out, you could reach out to them. Hey, we haven't heard from you, blah, blah, blah. Are you still having this issue or that issue? But come on now, right? So it matters because a lot of solo trichologists are not losing people because the service was weak. We're losing people because the follow-up was inconsistent. Our follow-up is trash. Okay? And so that makes it's just, I don't know, it just makes it hard that we're losing people because we're inconsistent. And that makes sense because when we're doing everything ourselves, follow-up is one of the first things to slip. It's kind of like, hey, if they need my help, maybe they'll call me back, or maybe we will, I'll circle back around, or whatever the case. So that's really not a good way to kind of do that, but we end up doing that. And so because of that, let's look at something like, again, ChatGPT or Claude, right? Zapier. Zapier is something that helps with automations, and then Notion, right? And Notion can support your system. So let's break it down. ChatGPT is going to help with the actual message, right? So you create your messages already. So you got a workflow, right? You got a little workflow. You got your ChatGPT. It's going to help with the messages. Going to help with your follow-up emails. It's going to help with DMs, with your post-consultation summaries, your check-ins, your re-engagement messages. So you can literally go into ChatGPT and create all these all this correspondence ahead of time, right? So if you can have a general post consultation summary, right? And then you just add in whatever pertinent information depending on the client that you had. You can come up with re-engagement messages already and have them already set up. And then what Zapier is going to do is going to automate. It helps to automate the steps in the background so you're not manually moving every piece yourself, right? And then you have Notion. I don't know if you heard of Notion, but then you have Notion, and Notion helps to track who needs what, right? What stage somebody is in, what's the next step, what does it need to be? So the point here is simple. You have interest means very little when there is no follow-up. If somebody said, oh, like I'm interested, and then you don't follow up, it really just kind of like messes you up, right? All right, let's go to number 4. Number 4 is your knowledge and note capture system. Knowledge and note capture system. And so this is your 4th system. And this is going to be a system that helps you capture what is being said. Now, this is really good. What's being said, what's being taught, what's being explained, what's being learned, right? You do not have to rely on your memory alone. Okay? You should have some kind of something, because we'll miss it. We'll hear something really good, or we'll say something really good, and our mind starts wandering, it starts racing, and then we're like, what was that again? But again, you're working by yourself. You're all by yourself. You can't write as fast as your brain thinks and all that other stuff. So we need to get that knowledge and note capture system. So this includes like in consultation, right? So consultation notes is really big, right? You're on a consultation, you want to write stuff down. Maybe you have virtual consultations. You want to capture that. Meetings, right? Trainings, idea capture, all these things, because we do more than just with the client, right? Sometimes we're teaching classes to other professionals or whatever the case is, right? Repeated explanations, information you want to reuse later. All that is important, and it matters because when you are a solo trichologist, your brain becomes a filing cabinet almost, right? And it creates overload. So here is the tech stack for that. Otter. There is something called Otter, right? So let's connect Otter with ChatGPT and Notion. We just spoke about ChatGPT. We just spoke about Notion. There is Otter. Otter is great for virtual consultations, for meetings, for trainings, and for recorded conversations where you want like accurate notes without trying to type every single word yourself, right? So if you've ever been like on a Zoom and you see like virtual assistant or AI assistant, whatever, like you'll see a notice. People are using that because they want their notes. They want their own notes, right? They want to say, okay, let me make sure I have notes of what is happening so then I can break that down and use that information, right? So then you have ChatGPT, and that's going to help you turn the notes into something useful. So you take those notes that were recorded with Otter, I think it's otter.io, I believe, right? You get those notes, you take those notes raw. You don't have to do anything to them. Take those notes, put them in ChatGPT, and then you could get summaries from there. You can get client follow-up. You can get educational language, internal notes, content ideas, all those things. And then you got Notion, and then Notion's gonna, it gives that information a place to live. So you can actually come up with stuff for clients. So you say, okay, I have this client, they're gonna be in a 12-week program. I take the notes from our virtual consultation, break it down into what they need, put my treatment plan with it, and now I have something for them to follow as well. I'm going to put it in a Notion doc that they have access to so that they don't have to keep asking me for stuff, especially if you have a client that's in a DIY or a DIY with support program, especially DIY with support, because they only see you once a month, every month for 3 months. That's only 3 visits, right? So even though it's like 12 weeks, there's going to be 9 weeks that they're not going to see you. But if you have a Notion document, You're literally able to put everything that they need in that document, and you can drip it out, by week, or have it available however you want to have it. And that's going to be really, really good. And honestly, this is a real conversation inside of my group mentorship too, because once you start building as an expert, your knowledge has to become organized, right? It cannot always stay trapped in scattered notes everywhere. I got stuff all over the place, right? It can't just be in like voice memos and just your memory. So you want to make sure that you have a place to put all of the ideas and all those different things. Our fifth system that we need is going to be your CEO planning system. As a trichologist, right? A solo trichologist, you are the CEO. That's it. That's just it, right? And so this is the system that's going to help you think like a CEO, not just a service provider. Okay. So this includes your planning, your prioritizing, your decision making, your organizing, your offers, right? Mapping your launches, structuring your ideas. And listen, when you hear launch, it's not just for people that's saying, hey, I teach blah, 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 right? But what if you're launching a product? What if you're launching a new service, or like a service like batch, right? So you're saying, okay, for the spring, these are the things I'm going to be launching. This is what I'm going to be doing. I'm taking this off the shelves. I'm taking this out of rotation, and I want to put this in. I better start launching. I better start my launch process now. Then you have something like this that we're going to put together, right? It's going to reduce mental clutter. And this matters because most solo trichologists spend so much time delivering services that we rarely get enough time to think strategically, right? So without your CEO planning system, you stay in reaction mode all the time. You're always just responding. You're always catching up. It's like every single year I talk to somebody and it's the week before Black Friday and they're like, oh my God, what should I offer? And it's like, this is not even a time for you to be thinking about that now. Like, you're late. You got to think about if today is the day I was supposed to launch, I needed to count back 6 weeks and start to put out information from then so people can see me, right? And that's going to be really, really big. Okay, so always rebuilding the week as it happens. That's what we do. We rebuilding, and we're trying to get stuff together, but we cannot be like that. And so this is where ChatGPT and Notion comes in, right? As a trichologist, right? And they're powerful together because ChatGPT is going to help you think through the ideas, right? What's my offer going to be? What's the service structure? What does the launch look like? What does the treatment education look like? What are my content plans, right? What are my problem solving things, right? And then your Notion is going to hold that plan, right? So your priorities, your content calendar, your offer map, your launch notes, workflow notes, all of it. So this system is really about giving the CEO part of you somewhere to think, right? Until you can get somebody that you can train. And then if you put this stuff in like Notion and all that other stuff, it's easier to make an SOP so that people are able, whoever you hire is able to, to follow. So that's really, really good, right? Okay. So this system is really about giving you that place to think. So the place to decide, the place to organize your business properly. Okay. And so just to recap, the 5 systems that we need are going to be our content system. It's going to be number 2, our booking and client flow system. It's going to be number 3, our follow-up system. Number 4 is going to be our knowledge and note capture system. And then finally, our CEO planning system. And inside these systems, the tools that support them are things like ChatGPT, Canva AI, hello, Acuity, or Calendly, or whatever you use, Zapier, Otter, and Notion. But again, the tools are not the point. That's not the point. The system is the point. Okay? The system is going to be the point. And so I just wanted to remind you that you need systems, right? Also, stay tuned because I got a little commercial. That I made about our group mentorship that is coming up on May 4th. It is going to be absolutely amazing. If you have any questions about any AI tools that can help to push your trichology practice along, feel free to reach out. Check out my website because I redid it and it looks absolutely amazing. It's www.myisha-k.com. You'll also see it at the end of my commercial. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day today. Happy hair growing.
Most people don't have a results problem. They have a systems problem. Every client I see already has a path. I don't guess in consultations. I follow a system. My protocols aren't random. They're repeatable. And if you're ready to build your business like this is exactly what I teach inside my 6-week group mentorship. Spring edition begins May 4th. Registration is open now. Because when your systems are right, your results stop being optional.